So a node shows the beginning of a task, and we also use it to show the time the task is ending. When the task is ongoing, as I said earlier, a line is to denote it. So let's start. A is the start of the project. So this is A because it is starting and it is preceded by nothing. So this is number 1 node. It has 2 days. Activity B is preceded by A. That means when A stops or when A completes, B can start. So this node will represent activity B because this node means we are completing A. So B can start. B has how many days? 4 days. So this is node 2. Activity C is preceded by A. That means it is when A completes. This node shows A is completing. And it is when it completes that activity C can start. You're getting it, I believe. Okay? Now, activity C has 2 days. Activity D is preceded also by A, but it is when it completes that activity D can also start. So D has 2 days. So that means technically activities B, C, D all start when A completes. Then activity E is preceded by B, C, D. That means B, C, D must complete. Remember I said a node is used to denote the end of an activity. So B, C, D activities end in this node. So this is node 3. It ends in this node, and that's when activity E can start. E has 3 days. Then activity F is preceded by nothing. It is the beginning. So F is preceded by nothing, and it has 8 days. It's preceded by nothing, so it is starting from the beginning. Activity G is preceded by E. When E completes, G can start. So this node shows that activity E is completing, so that G can start. Activity H is to start after E has completed. So activity H will also start here because E is ending here. G starts, H also starts. So, and H has 2 days, G has 3 days. Lastly, activity I is preceded by F, G, H. See, F is still ongoing here. So until when another activity is to start when it stops, it keeps going until when we are told. So we are told that F must end, F must complete for I to start. G and H must also complete for I to start. So this node shows that G ends here, H ends here, and F has to end for activity I to commence. So this is node 4, this is node 5. As I said, this is just to number the nodes, number of nodes that we have opened for the question. So that means the sequence of activities is shown with this network diagram. Okay, now this is showing that activity I is ongoing, and activity I takes 2 days. That means after 2 days, what happens? It stops, it ends, it is completed. What do we do when an activity is to be completed or is to be brought to an end? We draw a node. As I said earlier, a node is to show the end of that task. So after 2 days, activity I will stop, and that's the end of the project. This is a network diagram. This network diagram, from it we can determine the critical part or critical activities. So we use network diagram to determine the critical activities, and once those critical activities are identified, important decisions can be made, because critical activities do not have spare times or spare resources, so you can't waste time on them. It is from non-critical activities you have some spare resources perhaps that possibly can be used to make up for any possible situation, unplanned situation with critical activities. So let's determine the ESTs and LFTs. The start of the project is 0.00. You have not spent any day when you are starting the project, so you start at that point. Now 0 plus 2 will give us 2 days. That means for next activities to start, the earliest start times for them is 2 days, because A will take 2 days and they will start after A has completed. So the earliest start times for them is 2 days. Now for next node, when 2 or more 3 lines join a node, you take the higher or highest of the lines. 2 plus 2 has 4. If you take road B, it will take 6 days. If you take road C to this, in your mind, please think this is a turning point, like a circle or a roundabout. For you to get to this point from here to here, you can take road D, you can take road B, you can take road C. The earliest start time for E is the highest of the road here, because B must complete anyway before E will even start. So the earliest start time is the highest of the 3. So 2 plus 2 is 4 days. 2 plus 4 is 6 days. 2 plus 2 is 4 days. So it will take at least 6 days for E to start as the earliest start time for E. Then 6 plus 3 days, 9 days is the earliest start time for activities G and H. Now for activity for this node, how many days will it take earliest to start it? If we take road G, it will take 12 days, 9 plus 3. If we take road H, it will take 9 plus 2, 11, 12, and we know that G must complete before this starts. H must complete before this starts. In fact, F must complete before this I starts. So, and when 2 or more nodes, 2 or more activities meet a node, we take the highest road. 9 plus 3 is 12. 9 plus 2 is 11. Now 0 plus 8 is 8. So the highest of the 3 roads is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. That means it will take 14 days to complete the project. Now if it takes 14 days, now immediately this is also the latest finish time of activity I. Because if the project is to take 14 days, that is the latest finish time the project takes. Even the last activity here must end on day 14. Now we now have to go back to fill the LFTs. Now, when we are going backwards, we deduct. Remember when we were doing the ESTs, we were adding duration plus the ESTs before. Duration plus the EST before. Duration plus the EST before. Duration plus the EST before to get the ESTs. For LFTs, we do LFT minus duration. LFT minus duration, like that. So 14 minus 2 gives us 12. The LFT for this node, we have how many nodes joining it? 2 roads, road G, road H, if you are going back. When we have 2 or more roads leading to a circle, a node, we take the lower one. When we have the 2 or more nodes joining a node, 2 or more roads joining a node, we take the lower or the lowest one. Remember, as against the EST, when 2 or more roads meet a node for EST, we take the one that is biggest. For LFTs, we take the lowest one because we are deducting. So in this, we have two roads leading to this task, this node. So 12 minus 3 is 9. 12 minus 2 is 12 minus 2 is 10. So 9 is lower. So you made use of this road. We didn't use this road. Now, for this, there is certainly one road. 9 minus 3 gives us 6. Now, next node, we have 3 roads. Road D, road B, road C. 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. The one that is lowest is 4. So we are using road B. Road B gives us 2. Now, the last one. Road A and road F meet this circle. 2 minus 2 is 0. 12 minus 8 is 4. So we take road A, which gives us 0. So we have filled all the ESTs and LFTs successfully. The next thing to note is the critical activities, the CAs. Critical activities are activities that have the nodes EST and LFTs equal. This is equal to this. This is equal to this. So A is a critical activity. Remember, we made use of road A. We didn't make use of road F to get 0. Now, for this road, 2 is equal to 2, 6 is equal to 6. Remember, we made use of road B. So activity B is a critical activity. To meet this, there's just one road. Activity E is a critical activity. Take note. Nodes that give you EST and LFT to be equal is an important node. Now, activity that leads to it or that was used is a critical activity. Now, in this node, we have lines 1, 2, 3. Remember, we used line G. So activity G is a critical activity. And of course, there's one line here. So the critical activities are A, B, E, G, I. Non-critical activities are the others. D, C, D, F, C, D, F, H, okay, H are non-critical activities. From critical activities, if you add up the days, it will give you 14 because you don't have spare resources, spare days with them. Let's confirm. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. No spare time. For non-critical activities, if you add them up, it won't give you up to 14 because you have spare. Let's confirm. CD is 2, that's 4, plus 8 is 12. That's all. This total gives you 12. That shows you have non-critical, you have spare resources, spare capacity. For critical activities, you don't have spare capacities. That's why they are critical, because any mistake will lead to you not finishing the project as at the agreed date. Here comes the end of the topic, critical analysis, critical path activities. Remember, we looked at the network diagram and the critical activities and making mention of ESTs, LS start times, and latest finish times. If there is any comment or question, please ask it. It will surely be responded to. Thank you and see you again. Bye.